Hey everyone, this is Fi. We're checking out Dragonfly. This is a game I've not played before. We're going to give it a playtest, see if we can give some useful feedback. Got the game page open here. It says, side-scrolling shoot and loot action with ship customization. Can you make enough money to get off the planet? Soundtrack is apparently a few tracks by Vav, that's V-A-V. It goes on a list of the controls here. Move is WASD or directional arrow keys. Shoot primary is Z or mouse 1. Shoot secondary is X or mouse 2. Drop bomb is C or mouse 3. Move fast is hold shift. Move slow is hold space. First version created as month 7 of 12. I don't know what that means exactly, but yeah, so we're gonna give this a shot. I've got the Windows version here. I went ahead and downloaded it. At the moment it's in a window, so it might look a little blurry as it's being blown up to 1080p. I'll go ahead and check the settings to see if I can maybe set that to a native full screen or something, but yeah, so I forgot the overlay, so here's this. I'm not going to go back and redo the video, but yeah, this is obviously unfinished and we're going to give it a playtest. So yeah, I do have my Xbox controller. It didn't mention gamepad support on the page there, which is a bit disappointing, I guess. My cat's being annoying at the moment, but yeah, it doesn't seem like the controller is doing anything in the menu here. Let's set that aside for now. Let's go ahead and click on settings here. We got music volume, sound volume. We got credits over here. Full credits is here. Oh, okay, so that's working. My cat is making noise. If you hear anything here, it's being quite annoying. But let's go ahead and I guess we just click on new game. Oh, I can maximize the window here, so that should look different. Yeah, so that's kind of pseudo full screen ish, but yeah, let's go ahead and try out new game. I will say, okay, so we've got, oh my god, I'm sorry, hold on just a moment. Come on. All right, sorry for all the noise. I know I missed the story here, but yeah, let's focus on the gameplay. Okay, so all right, so like one thing I noticed when I started the game is that the music was nice and low, and people tend to make the music and sound effects like way too loud in their games. Unfortunately, once I got into here, it got way louder. So I think I'm going to have to make some adjustments here. All right, I turned it way down the capture. Hopefully that's a reasonable level. But yeah, common problem. People always make the games way too loud for amateur games for some reason. So I've got my volume pretty low. The Dragonfly class ornithopter airship is immediately recognizable for its bright colors and agile flight. Despite some superficial similarities, it should not be confused with the Firefly class airship. Alright, so we got UI here. There's kind of like a lot of stuff, so it's a lot to look at, and it's kind of like a lot to be met with all at once. Ava is down here, Ava. Hello Captain, I am your onboard ship AI Ava. Welcome to your main control panel. I don't know what the cat is doing at the moment. I apologize for any noise. So, looks like we have hull choice, slot 1 weapon, slot 2 weapon. Okay. It doesn't really give me an idea of just of stats or something. Mounted weapons. Alright, so there's a lot of space here being dedicated to this description, which seems to be basically just flavor text. Like, I don't know if this has got anything functional here, or do we put, okay, so if I click here, this kind of populates this, I guess, at least this half of it. So I don't know, maybe this layout could be improved. I think you could do a better job of emphasizing the important details and de-emphasizing the less important ones, probably. I don't know what this data thing is. To these, so obviously this is in an early state, so I'm going to guess that this doesn't actually change anything at the moment, because we don't have any like different selections here except for this, but it doesn't indicate that anything's changing if I select one of these over the others. So Yeah, maybe just stuff in the future we'll get different weapons, or maybe I unlock some. I think it said it was a looter. I don't want to call it a looter shooter, but you know, has looting, shooting and loot action is what it says on the page here. So yeah, just double check the controls again real quick to make sure I try to remember everything here. We do have bombs, got primary and secondary. All right, hold fast and move slow. Yeah, all right, move fast and move slow with the holding the modifier button. So let's go ahead and how do we? Okay, click next, I guess. Oh, so she's actually going to tell me stuff, I guess. Trading hub. Oh, okay, so we have different choices here. Let's go ahead and go. Whoa, okay, so we're already in the game. All right, so okay, we can pause here. That's good. That'll help me to be able to talk here. So first things I always look for in kind of traditional scrolling shmups like this is, for one thing, if there's any inertia on the movement, which doesn't appear to be the case. There is a little bit of latency being imparted by the fact that this is kind of it's in a windowed mode and it has VSync enabled and everything. It's not necessarily bad, but I really, especially these days, I like to have latency as low as possible for action games, and it's great to have the ability to turn off VSync and everything. So that requires an exclusive full screen mode, so that would be something to add to the settings. So just kind of pointing that out because it does kind of affect your ability to play accurately and control things accurately and stuff. Also, of course, it would be nice to have the gamepad. I'm not going to be as good using WASD for a shmup like this. It's going to be hard, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the difficulty level is going to be here, but I'm just pointing that out. So yeah, the other thing I look for besides the inertia is like the size of the colliders. So there's like a circle around the ship here. I don't know if that's like a shield or whatever. Looks like we have these big bars here, which is interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I see. So a few things off the bat here. I appreciate the fact that you have the collider visualized. So a lot of people don't do that. And I think that's an excellent idea because like where the exact position of where your collider is like extremely important in a shmup. And so having that visualized obviously helps. You do have these meters here, which kind of might have the potential to get in the way of some of the more important visuals, like the bullets that you're trying to dodge or whatever. Like if you're just trying to scrape by with your collider or something, these are kind of occupying that space here. So you might want to be careful about that. I can see what you're going for with making it so the player doesn't have to look up here to see these. But I don't know, maybe there's a better way you could do that. Or I don't know, maybe you want like a setting to turn it on and off. I would consider doing something like you could do like maybe some kind of radial bars that would kind of surround the ship, but also have them semi-transparent so they aren't that visible, but like if you need to see them, then you can still see them, something like that. You know, maybe that might be what I would try anyways, but just a thought. So the big point I want to make is in a shmup, basically, as a broad statement, the smaller you can make the collider for the player, the better the shmup is going to play. So in this case, we have like an enormous, this is actually, it's literally larger than the sprite itself. If this wasn't visualized, I would consider this horrible, but the fact that you can see it makes it so it's okay that it's bigger than the actual visual in a certain sense. But the other thing is that you're just going to have how to explain it? So just the scale of this makes it so that you have to make everything really spaced out. Like all the bullets have to be like super spaced out for this to really function well. That might be the case in how you've designed this, but you go for something a lot smaller, you can put so much more on the screen. You can make things a lot more interesting, while the player will also be able to still avoid everything. It does not need to be as big as the sprite itself. This is kind of a misconception that some people have, that if you have a sprite, the collider needs to be as big as the entire thing. It's not the case, especially in shmups. You can get away with a single pixel for a collider. Some shmups actually have done that, so I'm not saying you should. I personally go for, like, you know, maybe a few pixels in radius, or wait, no, diameter is what I meant. But anyways, it's just there's a concept there that I'm trying to get across. So we've got shooting. I haven't actually played the game at all. Enemy bullets are nice and slow, so we can avoid these pretty readily. I do notice that the player bullets, while they're faster than the enemy ones, are still pretty slow. So the effect of that is that it makes it feel a lot less kind of accurate and responsive when you're shooting at things. You have to wait for your bullets to travel across the screen. If things are moving up and down, you have to kind of try and lead your shots, and while that might sound interesting, in my opinion, it's just a lot more satisfying to have your bullets kind of get across the screen faster and you know, not force you to do these weird things where you're just kind of spamming bullets, and you know, a lot of times a lot of them miss, so it's kind of an accuracy thing. You end up with bullets that are much more accurate when they move faster. It just feels a lot better. So I would suggest, you know, just as a okay, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but as a experiment, if nothing else, try just jacking up the velocity on the player's bullets and just see how that feels to play, because I think you'll probably like it a lot more. So there's something going on here with the shield that kind of disappears. It looks like this is kind of like recharging over time. I don't know where my collider is when it's not there. Oh, it does mention the controls and stuff here. We got our secondary fire. So we do have an energy system of some kind, which makes it so it's going to be better to not just spam all the weapons all of the time, which is fine. Can I crash into... Okay, so I can't crash into this and die, which is appreciated, because there's like a lot of stuff that's kind of on the ground here, if we can call it ground. I guess it looks like a train or something. But yeah, so a couple things I notice here. Our little bubble shield thing here, even though it is visualized, there's a lot of cases where it's very hard to see against the background. This might differ a bit depending on your monitor, because mine doesn't have very good contrast in the near white range. But you definitely don't want something that important to really have so little contrast against the background, because that's kind of that's your life and death situation there. So there's been moments where it's just a little hard to see, especially with everything moving. Some of the bullets also don't stand out as much as they should, in my opinion. Might be nice to have some kind of like an audio feedback if you're running out of like energy or something. I think that might be something that's a little bit trickier to pull off if you don't have experience with like sound design and that kind of thing, but it can help a lot. These things do shoot pretty fast bullets, so... Oh, okay, so some of them shoot fast. Oh, the purple ones shoot faster things. So yeah, my shield doesn't exist. One thing I want to point out is... How much do we get? I don't know how many shots the shield takes. Like, is it these segments? Do you get like 4? Let me try that out. Oh, 20? Is it always 20 with everything? Okay, well, I mean, this is more of a balanced thing, so I can understand if your visuals don't match up perfectly, because maybe it's like something you would change. Like, you don't necessarily want to change the visual every time you change this number internally. So, but yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. If you're going to segment this out, might as well make it so that the segments represent like how much you lose if you get hit, you know. This just seems reasonable. Yeah, so I don't mind this kind of thing. It does recharge over time, which is a little bit on the forgiving side, in addition to letting you take like 5 hits before you're about to die. So yeah, it's a bit on the forgiving side. I don't mind that personally. Obviously some people are rather particular about shmups being difficult. Yeah, if I get too close to these turret things, it's like I can't really see the bullet coming. I just kind of get shot by it, which is a little awkward because of their position. Like I don't have a way to attack them that's very good, except like coming down here, and then it's like I'm in the worst place because I can't react to the bullet when it comes out. So if it was like if I could keep my distance and shoot at them successfully, that would feel better, I think, because I wouldn't put myself in such a you know, it's just reasonable. Like if I'm getting shot because I'm flying too close to it, just don't do that. But then I can't really like attack it to destroy it, so it's a little bit weird in that case. Like, yeah. So it's I know I'm kind of like all over the place in my the things I'm trying to say here, because there's just a lot. Like it's hard to play this and talk and elaborate on every thought that has occurred to me along the way here. So I guess we just fly into these without shooting them. I don't know what they do. It's just some kind of... It did say we're supposed to loot things. I guess I made it to the exit again. You know, I'm not playing particularly serious because I'm talking the whole time and not focused. But yeah, first level, it shouldn't be too hard anyways. Right, so I noticed that... Okay, so I have to click here. I think it'd be nice, and I know this is an early version, but I think it'd be nice if you want to have an emphasis on looting stuff, is if you, when you finish the level, to just take the time to display like all the stuff you got. Rather than, you know, having to make the player kind of go into here and maybe they don't remember what they had the last time, so they don't know what things are new in their inventory, that kind of thing. So that could help a lot, I think. I don't know what Hive is. Transportation. That's a lot of text, so I don't understand. I have no idea what this is and why we have this giant blob of text that we can like select from a drop-down menu. So it's confusing, but yeah. So in terms of the gameplay, the most obvious thing for me is just the size of the collider. It just makes it... It's easier if you have a smaller collider, but that also means that you can like I said, you can put a lot more stuff on the screen. It just feels so much better in my opinion. The visual element, I would prefer to kind of focus on this bright thing rather than like something that's faint that's around it, because it's just when I'm playing and you know, I'm looking all over the screen, I'm not necessarily looking directly at my thing all the time. So if you have some really nice contrast like you do on the design of the sprite, it can help you to kind of, you know, maybe your eyes aren't pointed directly at your sprite at the moment, but you can still kind of avoid some things and stuff like that. Let's just go back into whatever level here. Okay. Yeah, so sometimes I'm like just kind of shooting away with this. Then I'm like, okay, I wanna use the shotgun, and then I click the shotgun and then nothing comes out. And it's because the energy ran out. Like I don't have enough energy for it. It uses a significant amount. So it's kind of hard for me to track that, and it's really annoying when I go into this sort of, you know, like a dangerous maneuver to try and blast something with a shotgun, and then I hit the button and then nothing happens. It's like I just did all this for nothing, you know, and like put myself in danger, and it feels really bad. So I'm not sure that I like the energy thing the way it's working. Something you could consider is having like separate energy for the different weapons at least. Since they have different uses, like it would kind of make sense to me, I think, like if you have a reason to prevent people from spamming the shots constantly, like if that's something you think is going to make the game better, then you know this makes sense in that way. But I do find it annoying when I'm just trying to shoot with the normal gun all the time. You know, sometimes it runs out of energy, but then like there's these situations where it's like, okay, I'm gonna use the shotgun, but then it's like I have to think about how I've been using this, and I can't take advantage of that situation the way I want to, because like obviously I'm gonna be using this as much as I can to kill the enemies in front of me, so the energy might be low. Like there's no reason to keep this topped off just so I can use the shotgun in these more rare situations. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but in my opinion, that doesn't feel good the way it is. But of course, the other alternative is just to not have the energy altogether. I mean, most shoot 'em ups you can shoot as much as you want, and that works out just fine. So, yeah, you do have to ask this question: like, is this actually necessary? Is it actually making the game better, or was it just like an idea I had that I thought made some kind of sense without having like a specific need for it? You know, sometimes people do that. Actually pretty often. So just something to consider. It's like I said, it's not necessarily wrong to do that or anything, but I don't know if it would be what I would do. But I do. I don't know. I'm not enjoying it the way it is, particularly because of how it's screwing up using the shotgun, but also just like having to stop occasionally shooting. I don't feel like it's adding anything really. Like it's not like an FPS or something where it kind of, you know, it breaks up the pacing to have to like stop and hide behind something and reload and that kind of thing. I don't think that sort of thing matches a shoot 'em up where you're not taking cover. You're not waiting for attacks to come at you and then like going out and shooting at things and like that sort of thing. You're kind of constantly shooting things and moving, and you're constantly engaged in everything in a shmup. So and I'm not sure if this thing kind of fits in that way. But let's go ahead and keep going here. And yeah, the amount of bullets it takes to like kill one thing, it's like you have to, if you decide to kill one thing, it's like you have to use your entire energy meter, even just to kill one thing. So there's not really any reason why you would want to try and keep that from going down all the way, because that's the only way to kill anything. And like this takes way more than a full energy meter to actually kill this guy, so it's kind of annoying. Yeah, but it's really hard to see this bubble around me, and sometimes it disappears and I don't even notice. I'm like, where is it? Because I ran out of shield and I didn't realize it, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm not going to be very good with the keyboard anyways, so it's definitely possible to avoid a lot of these because they don't have patterns that are threatening unless I like go up there. And that's not necessarily bad because you can always add like different enemies for, you know, harder levels and that kind of thing. But just pointing out what I notice here. Obviously some of these are shooting directly at me and that kind of thing, so it's not like all of them are like that, but Mission complete, time to go home. Okay, it does say cargo crate 612 here. I didn't even notice this in the first case. So yeah, what I would do is like when you go back to the hub, just have like a big screen that comes out. It's like good job. Here's all the things you got, and then maybe just having them appear one at a time, that kind of thing. This is the sort of presentation that's really good for presenting information to a player in a way that works with the way that the brain works. You know, they really notice everything because it's like it comes in like a gradual fashion that's sort of animated. It draws the attention, etc. So yeah, only other thing I think I want to mention here is in terms of the hull design. Like I said, I don't really mind that you can take multiple hits. Some people are like, you know, shmup purists are kind of like, oh, you know, you always have to die after the first hit and that kind of thing. Personally, I don't believe that. But one thing to be careful about is if you do have this kind of thing where you can take multiple hits, you have like a health bar. The common problem that people, sort of amateur designers who are making shmups, tend to make is that if you have all this health that you can work with and you can keep getting hit like over and over again and not lose, so they tend to make the game in sort of a sloppy way, which what I mean by that is in a shmup it's extremely important that in any situation you can successfully avoid taking damage if you have enough skill, right? I'm not saying that that's not happening in what I've played so far, because I think it's been fine. But you have to be careful because, you know, even just the balance of the game, this kind of thing, if you're not making the game in a way that a really skillful player can play it without taking any hits whatsoever and enjoy it, then you kind of end up in this sloppy space where maybe there's some situations where you can't really reasonably avoid damage and you just kind of take damage, and you kind of end up accepting those things because of the fact that you have so much health to work with, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the issue. If you design a shmup so that, like, with the idea that you just don't have any extra health, then you're really forced to make it like a really tight and well-made experience where there aren't these situations where things get really ugly and you can't avoid damage reasonably and stuff like that. So just something to keep in mind. You do get a generous amount of health in this game, particularly because it regenerates. The fact that you can take like 5 hits in the first case, it's already kind of a fairly high number for a traditional shmup, but once you start adding the regeneration, that's giving you like a lot more over the course of the mission or whatever, a lot more hits that you can take. I'm not sure if you're gonna have, can I actually open this? I'm not sure if you're gonna have like upgrades that give you more hull or something like that. Like that's going to, in my opinion, kind of exasperate the issue if you start designing the game around being able to take 20 damage before you die, you know, that kind of thing, or 20 individual hits. That's not really how you want to design a shmup, so just something to keep in mind. So I don't know if I've done a good job making my cases here for the different points that I made. It's a little hard to describe all this stuff on the fly off the top of my head while I'm also trying to play the game. But I would suggest, if nothing else, just as an experiment, try making your collider like really small, like inside the sprite like this. Try doing that. You can add a few more things on the screen maybe, and, you know, try playing that way, and try making the bullets faster from the player, and maybe try without any of this energy stuff happening, and, you know, just see how you enjoy your game with these changes. They're really small, easy things you can do. You don't lose anything from experimenting like that, so I would recommend that highly, and you might just like it a lot better. I think I would like it a lot better, but you know, kudos for the most part. There's so many wrong ways you can do things when it comes to a traditional shmup, and a lot of those aren't here that I can tell, so, you know, I give you props for that. Honestly, I don't, even though these bars are right here, I find myself not looking at these at all, even though that's like the whole point of trying to put these on the sprite. I ended up just actually like looking at the top anyways, instead of trying to like look down here. So I don't know if that's something I could learn to do, but like I said before, you're not always just looking directly at yourself while you're playing the game. You're looking at all the enemies, everything else, all the bullets coming at you. So I don't think it's necessarily better to actually put these directly on the guy. I mean, sometimes you might be looking at yourself, so I don't know, but I'm just saying in my brief time playing, I didn't actually make use of that, I don't think. So yeah, hopefully that was useful. I think I probably said enough. Oh, I actually didn't use I didn't use the bombs, and I didn't use the modifier keys, which I didn't. Okay, so you can go faster, you can go slower. So obviously that's useful sometimes. And I could have made use of going slower in particular, I'm sure, in a couple of places, because you have to squeeze between some things and stuff, and that makes sense. Those are good additions. The bombs are what? I don't remember what button that is. Oh. I see. Okay. That gave me completely the wrong impression. All right. Interesting. Okay, so I'm glad I tried that out before finishing the level. Obviously, I was kind of complaining about that before, not being able to attack these guys from up here, which obviously I can do. And wow, those bombs are actually really powerful. I guess we don't have a lot of them though. Interesting. All right, so everything else is on this energy, but the bombs are in like a limited. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm actually curious. It seems like you do have a significantly smaller collider when you don't have a shield. That's an interest. I don't think I've ever seen something like that in a shmup. So it's really weird to have like different sized colliders like that. That you're working with. I think you'd be better off making that consistent actually. So that like you can't really design a game. You can't design a shmup around the idea that some of the time you're gonna have this huge collider, and then some of the time you're gonna have like a smaller one, right? Because the collider size kind of determines what you can get away with in terms of the attacks and stuff that you're avoiding. So, I mean, yeah, you can say as long as you design it around the bigger one, it's okay, and that makes perfect sense. But I do think you'd have a much better time with a much smaller collider as your main collider, or whatever you want to do. So you might as well just make them consistent, in my opinion. But yeah, so the bombs. All right, so you might know this, but like in virtually every shmup out there, if they have a bomb, it's not this kind of bomb where you actually just drop it and it falls downwards. It's like usually like a giant explosion that clears out the bullets that might be on the screen. Maybe it just kills all the enemies on the screen, something like that, or just like in a big radius around you. It's usually like an oh crap button. So if you find yourself in a bad situation, you can hit that, and then it kind of gets you out of the situation. That's what bomb means in the context of shmups. So I didn't make that up. That's just an old convention. I actually don't like those kind of bombs, so that's kind of what I assumed. That's what I assumed that this was going to be, the bomb thing. I didn't actually get the idea that this would be something that was, in my opinion, it's actually more interesting than the get out of jail free card kind of bomb that is in other shmups. But obviously that could be, I don't know, a little confusing to some people, but that's okay. I mean, it is a bomb. It's not like you're mislabeling it or anything. I do notice it does have this way of inheriting your inertia, which, wow, it even goes diagonally and upwards and stuff. That's kind of cute. Yeah, so it inherits your inertia here, your velocity, whatever. Makes it a little annoying to aim it, in my opinion, because when you're moving, it's hard to imagine in your head like the trajectory the bomb is going to make. Obviously you can kind of learn that over time, but the fact that you don't have any inertia on the movement, which is how you should do shmup movement, means that you can't go from straight down to like, if I just want to shoot it like a little bit forward, I can't do that. I can only shoot it like way forward, because as soon as they start moving, I'm at max speed. So I don't have a lot of control there. So I wonder if you might want to consider, I mean, you could do different things. One thing you can do is just have them always go straight down, which means that you can actually move around while being able to use them in a predictable manner. That's probably in my opinion, the most intuitive way to do it. That way you can simplify it so the player only has to think about, okay, I just need to be over the top of the thing and then press the button. And they don't have to worry about if they're moving or not and that kind of thing, because that really complicates it. That would be one thing you could do. You could also make it so that instead of it being kind of accurate in the way it inherits your velocity, you can make it so that, like, if I'm moving to the left, maybe it drops it just with like one fraction, 1/5 or something of the velocity that I have, so it doesn't go as dramatically in this direction. Maybe it just kind of goes like down a little bit in that direction. Maybe that would feel better. I don't know. Just stuff to consider. This is just what occurs to me. This is probably what I would do. This isn't that important, but honestly, I like the idea of being able to just drop it straight down, because you don't have to. You're always so mobile in a shmup like this. Like, you have to constantly look at everything. You have to constantly be on the move, just weaving in between and everything. So the idea that you have to stop in order to drop a thing straight down and then keep moving kind of seems to work against that. So if you can just keep moving all the time, but you can still drop it where you predict it will go, or I should say in a very predictable way, which is, if it just always goes straight down, then that would simplify that in a way that I think would work well with the genre here. So I'm going to go ahead and probably wrap up this video. I don't know if there's a way to open this. I guess we can go to the trading post. I didn't do any of this stuff. We got different weapons that does all this work? Burner. Do I have money? So yeah, I don't see. I don't see anywhere on the screen how much money I have, which is an important thing if you're buying things, so that's interesting. I also noticed these meters and stuff don't reset apparently after you leave the mission. Okay, so another thing I'm noticing, and I know I said I was going to wrap up the video, but there's a lot of this kind of flavor text stuff, which is cool. Some people like that. Some people just don't give a crap, and you have to keep in mind that there's stuff that's actually important to the gameplay, and there's stuff that's here just for, lore, just to add flavor to the game. And you kind of have to separate the two. So if I just want to know what the heck this does, I just want to click on this. I want to just see, like, just tell me what this does, like, in as brief a description as possible. And then, maybe after you do that, you could put a line break and then have, like, this kind of lore thing or whatever that, people who are interested in that can read that, and that's cool. I don't want to just sit here and, like, read through all of these one by one to, like, get the history about the weapon or whatever. Especially if I'm just, like, looking at all of these for the first time. So it's nice if I can just see the quick description of it, and then, like, maybe sometime later I feel like coming back and like I'm interested in what this other stuff says, and then I can do that. But if I have the option to just see what it does, then that's really what I want, which I don't think you actually have that. I mean, so some people do this where it's like you can kind of dig the details out of the text, or at least some details out of the text, if you bother to read through it all carefully. In my opinion, that's not good enough. You just have to, just tell me what a scattergun is. Just, like, shoots 5 shots in an arc or something, and just put, like, a description like that, one line. That's so much more functional. In any case, I don't know if I can insufficient funds. I don't know what I have for funds, so. Oh, okay, so I can open the crate here. I know this is nitpicking, I apologize, but it is a little awkward to have these buy and sell buttons here, because the way that these buttons work is basically like having different tabs, which is not really what buttons like this represent, if that makes sense to you. So if I click on this, it's going to do something. I mean, I guess that kind of works as a tab too. If I click back to hub, that's obviously just going to bring me back to the hub. So that's not a tab, right? A quote-unquote tab. But these are just bringing me to different screens, so it does feel a little bit weird in that way. I should probably, you know, I should probably just avoid nitpicking to that degree and finish this video up. But let's go ahead and open the crate. I haven't done any of this stuff, so... Alright, we got a little animation. It's a little bit... Yeah, water. Interesting. So why... Okay, maybe this is... Oh, there's a cost? Wait a minute. Okay, so... It did say that the crates were free to open, and now it says that there's a cost to uncrate. I still don't know how much money I actually have. Water is apparently valuable, but it's the same value as the crate itself. That's interesting. Okay, so I got 100 more. I should be able to... Okay, I can unlock another crate. I got watermelon. I feel like this animation is a bit slow. I mean, we're not getting anything out of just watching a few frames of that opening. I would just make that faster so the player isn't just waiting for no reason. But actually, I didn't actually pay attention to what that said I got. So what? Oh, right, I got the watermelon. I just immediately forgot. So we get a little bit more for that, I guess. Alright, so I can keep doing this. This is obviously kind of annoying to have to like go back and forth every time instead of just opening them all or whatever. I just keep getting enough. Yeah, that seems to be what's happening here. It's just kind of goofy. Oh, wait, I found it. Okay, I saw out of the corner of my eye, I saw the number go change. So I found where the cache is. It's hidden up here. Okay. Now, why is that? Why can you click decline offer and then this all just disappears? It's kind of very strange. It's not really any purpose to just not having anything here. So yeah, this is very strange. I would just make, you know, some kind of... Put these on some kind of tab somewhere. I can just go to different screens to do these different things than just have the back button separate. That would make more sense. But yeah, so this is being very tedious. I guess I can do 2 this time because I happen to have enough extra. Well, we got gold bugs. Oh, nice. So yeah, there we go. We can sell all that. Now we can like open them all, I guess. Although I have to wait for this silly animation every time. Found spiderweb silk shirt. What the heck? Why would you have this? So yeah, this just feels a little slow. I already said that more than once, but you know. Yep, so a bit... Oh, wait. I thought I did the last one already. Okay. Yeah, so a little tedious, but we got a bunch of this stuff. Yeah, so I'm assuming that the only purpose of these 4 things is that you can just sell them to this guy for money. Then you could buy guns. Apparently you have to actually buy repairs to get the hull. Huh. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, I know some games have done this. I'm not sure if that fits in the context of a shmup, in my opinion. It's kind of weird. But that's alright. Yeah, so I'm curious if you have any intention to have... have more loot, quote unquote loot, that is actually functional. Like obviously the bomb is, so that counts as, you know, at least you have the idea that you can get something functional out of the things. But I don't know if you want to, like, I think it said that, yeah, okay, I remember it said in the game page that the customization was planned to be a focus, so I think that's just, we don't have it, that kind of stuff in the game yet. Apart from, well, I guess you can buy these. Actually spend all the money, maybe, okay, let me just sell. So, okay, we have to do this all one at a time too. So yeah, this is all kind of tedious. At least we don't have to watch an animation here, but like having to click back and forth. All right, and we have to buy more bombs if we want. Yeah, I don't like that kind of thing. Like, I don't want to have to worry about spending money to get like this normal kind of gameplay stuff in place, you know, just to get my hull back. Or I actually, wait, how does this even work? I didn't even think about this before, but apparently we can take like 5 hits for the shield, and then maybe the same amount for the hull. Is that the way that works? So it's like a lot of hits you can take. So yeah, I'd be really careful about this. I already talked about that before. Let's what do I want to do? To buy something different, at least to get 4,000 of that. I can't actually buy that. It sounds interesting. Let's just try this and see if I can equip it. Burner. Flamethrower. Alright, that's the flamethrower, I guess. Alright, I mean, it's something new. It's not that interesting. It doesn't even look that flame-like in my opinion. I think you could probably make that something feel like it's a little more continuous or something. But you know, you kind of get the idea. It's kind of short range and it's like a rapid thing, and has a little bit of like a tight spread effect there. So yeah, obviously it's a bit more powerful than the thing I had, and has less of a range and stuff like that, so that's kind of a nice trade-off. But in any case, yeah, so let's wrap this up. Ended up kind of nitpicking a little more than I intended to, maybe, but the same things I said before are things I would suggest focusing on. And yeah, hopefully that was useful for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I will see you in the next video.